Friends, life has a way of bringing us to moments when the light seems to fade, when the path ahead feels uncertain, and when the strength inside feels almost gone. Those moments are the hardest to endure because they test not just our patience, but our very spirit. We've all had days when everything seems heavy, when dreams look shattered, when plans fall apart, when relationships hurt, and when our confidence feels like it's slipping through our hands. And in those moments, a question rises quietly within. What now? What's the point? Can I really go on? That's what I want to talk to you about today. Not the good days, not the days when everything works, not the times when the sun shines and hope is strong, but the days when all hope seems lost. Because it's in those very moments that life asks us to make a choice. Will we stay down, or will we rise again? The reality of lost hope now, let's be real. Hope is powerful. Hope is the fuel that keeps the engine running. The belief that tomorrow can be better than today. But when hope is gone, it feels like the air has been taken out of the room. You can't breathe. You don't see tomorrow as brighter. You only see the darkness of now. It's important to understand that everyone, no matter how strong, successful, or wise, has felt this. Losing hope is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of being human. The question isn't whether we'll feel hopeless. The question is, what will we do when hopelessness comes knocking? Because here's the truth. Hopelessness doesn't have to be the end. It can be the beginning of something new. Pain as a teacher. When hope disappears, pain steps in. And pain is a teacher unlike any other. It whispers lessons we would never hear in comfort. Think about it. The seasons of struggle often taught you more than the seasons of ease. Pain makes you pay attention. Pain says, something must change. You can't stay here. The loss of hope is an invitation to look deeper. It asks, what is broken inside of me? What belief have I surrendered? What dream did I bury? Pain asks us not to quit, but to learn. Now, learning in pain isn't easy. It takes humility. It takes patience. It takes courage to sit with your disappointment long enough to discover the wisdom hidden inside it. The two choices, when hope is gone, life offers you two paths. The path of surrender. This is where you stop trying, stop believing, stop moving forward. It feels easy in the moment, but it leads to regret, bitterness, and a life half-lived. The path of renewal. This is the harder road. It's where you take what's broken and you build again. Not because it's easy, but because you decide that your story isn't finished. When you feel hopeless, ask yourself, which path will I choose? Surrender or renewal? The power of perspective. Here's something I've learned. Hopelessness is often not about the situation, but about the perspective. The same storm that breaks one person can build another. The same winter that freezes one heart can strengthen another. Why? Because perspective shapes reality. If you see your challenges as the end, then they will be. But if you see them as a season, temporary, passing, part of the larger journey, then you'll find the strength to endure. It's not the problem that destroys us. It's how we think about the problem. Stories of renewal. Let me tell you something. History is filled with men and women who faced hopelessness. They lost businesses, families, fortunes, health. They were betrayed, abandoned, laughed at, dismissed. Yet, many of them rose from the ashes stronger than before. Why? Because they refused to let hopelessness be the final chapter. They understood something simple: life can break you down, but it can also build you back up if you let it. Think about the seed planted deep into the soil. It looks lost. It looks buried. Darkness all around. But in that darkness, transformation is happening. What looks like the end is really the beginning of growth. That's the same with you. Sometimes when hope is gone, you're not buried, you're planted, building hope again. So, how do you build hope again when it feels gone? Let me give you a few practical steps. Start small. Don't try to rebuild your whole life in a day. Just take one small step. call a friend, write in a journal, go for a walk. One small act of movement creates a spark of hope. Change your input. Hopelessness grows when you surround yourself with negativity. Change what you read, what you watch, who you listen to. Put something uplifting in your mind every single day. Focus on gratitude. It sounds simple, but it's powerful. Write down 3 things you're thankful for every day. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lost to what remains. Create a vision. Hopelessness is the absence of vision. Write down what you want. Even if it feels impossible right now, dare to dream again. Find someone to serve. When all you see is your own pain, you get stuck. But when you help someone else, even in a small way, hope begins to return. The role of discipline. Here's a truth that's often overlooked. Discipline creates hope. You might think hope is just a feeling, but it's not. Hope grows out of action. When you do the things you said you would do, even when you don't feel like it, you create trust with yourself. And that trust becomes the foundation of hope. You can't wait for hope to come before you act. You act, and then hope comes. Guarding the mind. Let's talk about your mind. When all hope feels lost, the battle is not just outside. It's inside. The voice in your head will tell you, it's over. You can't. You won't. There's no point. And if you listen long enough, you'll believe it. That's why you must guard your mind. Protect it. Feed it truth, not lies. Speak life to yourself, even if your emotions disagree. Tell yourself, this is not the end. My story isn't finished. I can rise again. The gift of hopelessness, strange as it sounds, hopelessness can be a gift. Why? Because it strips away illusions. It forces you to confront what really matters. It makes you ask, who am I when everything is taken away? What do I truly believe? When all the noise is gone, when all the easy answers vanish, what's left is the raw essence of who you are. And in that rawness, you can rebuild. Not with borrowed strength, but with a foundation that's truly your own. Your legacy someday. People will tell your story. They'll talk about your victories, but they'll also talk about your valleys. They'll say, there was a time when everything seemed lost, but they didn't quit. They rose again. That can be your legacy. Not a life without hardship, but a life that refused to surrender to hardship. A final word, so, my friends, if you find yourself in a season where hope feels gone, remember this, you are not finished. The pain is real, the loss is real, the darkness is real, but so is your strength, so is your courage, so is your ability to rise again. When all hope is lost, that is when you must become the author of new hope, not waiting for it to appear, but creating it through faith, action, perspective, and discipline. The human spirit was made for resilience. You've come this far, not by accident, but by strength, and that strength is still inside you. Stand up, take one more step, breathe one more breath, dream one more dream. The story isn't over, it's just beginning. Because when all hope is lost, that is the moment when hope is ready to be found again.